The Path of Truth. Written by Manoj Das. Narrated by Samir Ranjan Das. This happened thousands of years ago. In a certain hill town named Bahubana lived two friends, Gautama and Manikundala. Gautama came from a poor family, while Manikundala was the son of a wealthy merchant. The two young men had taken a vow that they would never cease to be friends. One day Gautama told Manikundala, "Look here, my dear friend. Now that we have grown up and are able-bodied young men, we should enjoy the good things of life. There is nothing in our small town to make us happy. Come on, let us go into the wide world and have a nice time." At first Manikundala was not quite willing to undertake any such travel. But Gautama was insistent and he did not wish to hurt his friend's feelings. One morning, the two friends left their town and started out on their adventure. Manikundala, being rich, carried a good amount of money with him, whereas Gautama had practically nothing with him. It was sunset when they reached a spot where the road branched out in two directions. One led to a town known for its taverns, which offered many kinds of food and drinks to visitors. The other way led to a pilgrim center. "Let us proceed to the town," proposed Gautama. "No, my friend," said Manikundala. "Let us visit the holy place." "You speak like a fool. Your holy place can offer us no pleasure," retorted Gautama. "Whatever you may think of it, my brother, I do not waver from what I know to be right path. That alone will give me happiness," said Manikundala. "Are you dreaming of happiness? The path you are choosing shall bring you only pain and suffering," cautioned Gautama. "Let us ask some seniors who can tell us what we should do. If they support my view, we will forfeit to me all the money you have, and if they support your view, I will forfeit to you whatever I have." Gautama did not wait for his friend's consent to the condition. He walked up to a group of travelers sitting under a tree and asked them, "Gentlemen, you are all grown up and experienced. Tell us, will the path of truth make us really happy?" The senior-most in the group shook his head thoughtfully and with a sigh said, "No, young man. We see that people who adhere to the path of truth suffer much. On the other hand, people who do not care whether what they did was just or unjust prosper." "That is right," said the elderly man's companion in unison. Then they stood up and resumed walking. Gautama at once snatched Manikundala's bag. "How, you fool, you must admit that what I said was true," he said. "I do not agree with their opinion. It is only the path of truth that can give us a taste of true happiness," said Manikundala calmly. Gautama had always nursed a deep envy towards Manikundala for years. He also feared that Manikundala might meet the Kotwal and complain that he had been robbed. As dusk had fallen and there was nobody else nearby, Gautama pulled out a knife and suddenly blinded his friend and retorted, "Now know for yourself how stupid you have been all along. Be sure, I am going to have a merry time." Leaving his helpless friend there, Gautama briskly walked toward the town. It was on the bank of the river Ganga that Manikundala had been left. He sat down bemoaning his fate. Death is preferable to this condition, he murmured to himself. Suddenly he fell into the water. The current was strong. He could not see which way he was going. He was too tired to swim. He just kept himself aloft on the water. After a short while, he touched a rock. He climbed onto it. There were plants around him. As he groped his way, a fruit came into his grasp. He was hungry. He did not know whether the fruit was edible or not. But since he was ready to die, it mattered little, even if the fruit was poisonous. He began eating the fruit. It tasted extremely delicious. He had never eaten anything like that in his life. Soon a miracle happened. He got back his vision. The unknown fruit had done it. He had heard from a hermit that somewhere in the Ganga there was a rock full of strange medicinal plants. During the great Ramaravana war, Hanuman had carried from the Himalayas a hill covered with such plants to Rama's camp. But while he carried it back to the Himalayas, a portion of the hill had fallen into the Ganga. Manikundala now realized that it was sheer luck that had landed him on that rock. There was only one more fruit on the plant. He plucked it and then swam back to the shore. There was a temple there. He prostrated before the deity, Yogeshwara, and decided to walk back home. He had not gone far when he heard the royal herald announcing that the princess had lost her eyesight and that whoever could restore it to her would be amply rewarded. Manikundala proceeded straight to the palace and cured the princess of her ailment. The king, the queen, and the princess were delighted. The king had no son. He was so deeply impressed by Manikundala that he offered the princess in marriage to him. After the king's death, Manikundala succeeded him to the throne. Years later, while on a tour of his kingdom, Manikundala's eyes fell on a forlorn traveller, grown prematurely old. Although the traveller could not recognize the young king, Manikundala discovered in the beggar his old friend, Gautama. The magnanimous Manikundala gave Gautam a job in the temple of Yogeshwara. As Manikundala got back his vision in front of the temple, the place came to be known as Chakhyutirtha, or the holy place of vision.